thank the gentlelady for yielding. Now I call on our great chairman, Walberg, for his line of questioning.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to the panel for being here. I almost, and I will hesitate, I won't do it, I wanted to ask if any of you have your prepared statements made by AI. I'd love someone to say yes, and it fit exactly what I wanted to say. But thank you for being here. This is a key topic all over the world, and if we don't use it well, China will overtake us, and that's something we have to understand, regardless of workplace, individuals, performing rights, and all of the rest. We have to be the leader. Mr. Kelly, your written testimony is critical of the way the Biden-era National Labor Relations Board approached AI. Will you explain the Biden General Counsel's approach and why you believe it was to be misguided?
Yes, absolutely. And it's an excellent question. So obviously there has been a lot of concerns about the use of AI in the workplace, which generated the General Counsel at the time, Jennifer Abruzzo, to issue a memo on Halloween of 2022. And this memo introduced an amorphous framework that created a presumption that employers using AI overall would be in violation of the NLRA. And it was flawed from the get-go. The entire scheme was based on a law review article or a law journal article from 2018, 3 sentences that included a footnote that said, this proposal is laid out here only briefly to be elaborated on in future work, which was never released. And these 3 sentences in this 2018 law journal article established this framework. And I think that's also an important thing to kind of stress here, is that a lot of the concerns that we hear about with artificial intelligence originate in academic literature. When we hear about all these problems about artificial intelligence, we're not seeing the cases. You know, as somebody who does a lot of litigation, the reality is that when there's a big legal problem, you see cases generating on it. You're not seeing the cases come up. All these problems that you hear about with artificial intelligence really are speculative in many ways, and they can only be found in academic literature. But going back to the NLRB memo, it lacked clear definitions and standards, and it also failed to acknowledge how AI is actually being used in the workplace. The fact that employers are using it to prevent harassment, that they're using it to improve safety. It disregarded those and put them to the side. And also consider that the memo wasn't subject to notice and comment. There was no stakeholder feedback. There was no voice of employers. There was no vendor feedback, and those are the ones who were actually developing and using the technology.
Just a Halloween scare.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, yeah. Thank you. Ms. Sharfuddin, your written testimony says that much of the existing research suggests that AI is more likely to reshape tasks within occupations than to eliminate entire jobs. I certainly hope that that's true. Could you explain what in the research leads you to that conclusion?
Thanks, Chairman Walberg. That's a very important question. So right now, we don't see in 2025 labor data, we see that we're not seeing as many jobs created, but we are also not seeing that many jobs, that many people getting fired. So the unemployment rate is slowly getting up there, but also we have to make sure that the jobs losses we're seeing, are they in AI-exposed area? Are they in AI-exposed occupations? So currently, we don't have nationally representative data by federal agencies where we could study it very rigorously. All we have are some private data, for example, from Anthropic Economic Index. So that is privately done data from Anthropic, who's one of the largest AI company, but we have some issues with the type of people use that tool. So there is selection bias in that tool because only certain types of software engineers and so on, they use the tool, so this is not nationally representative. So from those privately available information, we can see that the changes are happening at task level. Certain, for example, economists, researchers, they are using it for editing and writing certain things, but collaboration, idea generation still staying within human worker. So we see it from private data, but we do need more comprehensive federal data from the whole country.
Thank you. Mr. Walton, I'm sure your daughter's glad that your only dad joke that you used this morning was very fitting. I'll use it again. Tidal wave, wiffle ball bat. Perfect. Talk to me about the imposed tax on employers that some are suggesting, and why you think the robot tax is a bad way to protect American workers, and what Congress should do instead. In 4 seconds.
Yeah, in 4 seconds. I think it's a bad idea because AI is going to create more jobs than it displaces. I was reading something recently from McKinsey that the internet created 2.6 jobs for every job that it displaced. If you stop innovation in the American workplace, it's going to hurt the American worker and it's going to hurt the American economy vis-a-vis of countries